Take 98 of the Tino Take. Continuing with my newly found commute casting. I know y'all like that. I like inventing stuff. Commute casting. I like this. It's a little bit different today. You might hear my voice a little bit tired. I just walked about an hour and a half because there is no public transport on Christmas Day at Milan. Fortunately, there's a train to take my ass home, but no train, no buses, no trams, no metro, underground for you people in England, and subway for those of you in New York. We call it metro here. And well, fortunately the train hasn't come yet, so my commute casting is being done out here in the open. So it's kind of like a commute casting, walk and talk. Well, pace and talk, because I'm kind of pacing back and forth. The train should be here soon, and I will be very happy to see it. It's a little bit stressful doing the afternoon shift, because when I get finished, there's one train, just the last train to take me home. So if I miss that train, or if something happens with that train, breaks down, I don't know, strike, whatever, I'm in deep trouble, because I got to spend the night in Milan, and I certainly won't be spending it in any kind of hotel, because I don't earn that much. Anyway, I'm happy to be here. This is the first time that I had to take this walk from the particular hotel that I'm working at. I didn't know the road well, and fortunately my good colleague came early so that I can take off and take this walk with a sense of calm. So today is Christmas. It is Christmas Day, and heading home. It's Christmas Day, and it's also the day in which, at least for this year, the sun has entered into gate 58, the gate of joy and vitality, for those of you who know a little something about human design. You know what I've been thinking? I've been thinking that this commute casting, this getting back into my recording, is something that, well, as I stated already, it's something that I need to do because, number one, I enjoy doing it. But it's like every day I'm sitting here thinking to myself, okay, what am I going to talk about? Maybe talk about this, or maybe I can explain that. And then, today it hit me like, I thought to myself, explain what to who? And so I think that the best thing for me is not to imagine that there's some audience out there who wants to hear me explain this or explain that, or I'm going to sit here and make pretend like I have a question that's being asked, and I'm going to offer my opinion, offer my insights, offer my perspective on that question. No. I thought to myself, this is where I should actually be answering my own questions and going through my own insights. You know, when you are a person who has a level of insights, excuse me a second, because got to be dealing with the flu season. When you're a person that's dealing with a lot of insights, in human design, it's gate 43, which I was born in. And gate 43, also known as gene key 43, and the reason why I mention gene key 43 is because of the 43rd shadow, the shadow of deafness. I've always been intrigued by this shadow of deafness because it's a tricky word, right? The first thing you think when you hear deafness is I can't hear anything. But have you ever thought of the expression, the noise was so deafening? And that's what it really means. The mind of someone who has gate 43 or who is heavily influenced by gate 43 is deafening. is deafening. There's so much damn noise in this mind of mine that it's deafening. And the deafness on the shadow side of things causes you to not be able to hear the genuine insights. So with that, externalizing these insights helps to lower down the deafness. Getting all of this noise out of my head and getting it out there somewhere, that's what helps to bring down the volume. And that's the realization I had today. This is my way of externalizing. This is my way of bringing the volume down, clearing up some of that deafness. So I'm not here to explain nothing to y'all. I'm here to explain to myself what it is that's going on in this mind of mine so that I can get certain things out of the way and clear the way. I had a friend of mine, right? Way back in the day. Way back. I was homeless. I was in a homeless shelter. And there was this dude from Sicily who was working at the homeless shelter. Right? And him being Sicilian and me being Sicilian, right? So we connected and we got this bond. And after he got to know me a little bit, because we would be talking about this and that, he one day he said, "Man, you got a whole bunch of ideas. Like every time I talk to you, you have this other idea. You have this." I was like, yeah, that's just kind of how my mind works, And the interesting thing is I didn't know anything about human design back then. I knew back then I had the insight that I was a dynamic assertive, and dynamic assertives are idea peoples. We love ideas. So, that was my consciousness at the time of why I was like that. But the thing that he said to me that then reflects back to today about this deafness, she was like, "Yo, man, those are some good ass ideas. Why don't you write them down? Yo, you got to write those down." And I remember telling him, because he was like, you got to write those down because you're going to forget them. And I told my friend, I said, no, it's not necessary. Because even if I forget these ideas today, if I got 10 ideas that I can jot down today and I don't write them down, I probably will forget them tomorrow. But tomorrow I'll have 20 other ideas. And the idea that I could sit down and jot down my ideas so that I can watch them accumulate each day and not actualize them, not see them come to fruition, that's even more stressful. So that's why I never really wrote down those ideas. I never really took on that idea. I appreciate his good-heartedness because he was, he was complimenting me. He was saying a good thing about me, and I appreciated that. But in foresight now, I didn't understand the deafness thing back then. I didn't understand the shadow of deafness. I understand it now. So it's not, it's not like now I'm going to be like, okay, now I'm going to grab my notebook. I'm going to start and write down all these ideas. But I do realize that I have to have some kind of way to externalize these. Otherwise, they kind of build up. And it's the frustration of not being able to actualize so many of these ideas. It is. It's, sometimes certain ideas are so good in your own mind that eventually they become horrible because they torture you. Because you're like, man, I got this great ass idea and I can't do anything with it. So what the hell good is it? You start to actually hate the good idea. You start to actually resent that you had this good idea. Like, what the hell was it for? For nothing. Just to kind of torture my own mind and knowing that I can't do shit with it. That's the crazy part about it. But that realization today just led me to think, okay, I am not going to sit here and do what I did in the past to try to pretend like I have this audience that I'm teaching stuff to. I want to get these insights out of my own head so that I can see if I can propel them forward in some way or just let them go. Let them go. Because I know how, I don't have that kind of frustration that creative assertives have. Creative assertives are artists who live with the constant fear that their creativity will one day disappear. God, that's got to be a torture. You got this talent, you have no idea where it came from. People are telling you, oh, you got it from your great grandfather, or, you got it from your school, or you were inspired by that television show. Nah, creative assertives have that inner feeling that this shit came from somewhere, but I don't know where. And just as it came from that somewhere that I don't know where, it could go back there and I could lose this. I feel fortunate. Maybe other dynamic assertives go through it, but I don't think so. We just know that this is an innate thing. Like, dynamic assertives just know it's an innate thing. We know that this is going to be, there's going to be an endless supply, Don't ask me how. We just know. We're very self-observant people. We observe ourselves from birth on. So we're fully aware of our own capabilities. We're fully aware that it comes from some kind of spiritual source. In other words, it wasn't my 5th grade teacher, wasn't my neighborhood, wasn't my genetics. It's just, this is the way I am. So today, since we stepped into gate 58, see what I'm doing lately is I'm trying to pay attention to these transitions. I've been looking at human design for a long time now. It takes, I suppose, dynamic assertives have a natural skepticism about them as well. But I've been messing around and dabbling around with this human design for, about 2000 something. It's been more than 20 years. 20 years of creeping up on this stuff slowly, because human design, after a while, it can freak you out. It can freak you out. Oh, this is the cool part of commute casting. Check this out. We get to hear the train approaching. I'm excited because this is the damn train that's got to take me home. Until I see this train, I'm stressing. Like, yeah, okay. Here we go. Let's get some of these ambient sounds getting in here. All right. You like that Denzel Washington? All right. You got a train, we got a train. We all commuting in here. Commute casting. Oh, love that sound. Actually, get up in here and get some heat, because it's cold as fuck out here. It ain't New Jersey cold. It's Milan cold, but it's still cold. Here we go. Now, don't know how long this is going to last. This commute casting, take 98. Yeah, crazy, man. Got homeless cats trying to get a little bit of warmth, digging into the ashtrays, looking for some cigarette butts. Damn, I feel sorry for them. I've been there, so it ain't like not disrespecting, just acknowledging. And so here we go. We take 98. Now we are officially on the train. Can sit my tired ass down, soak up some of this heat, and wait till this bad boy takes off and takes my ass home. So back to the transition. So I've been lately, for years, I haven't been paying much attention to the transitions because I've been going through my chart. I've been going through my chart for 2 decades, trying to understand how the hell it's possible that all of these details can be. That's the astonishing part, as well as the scary part about human design. It's like you don't want to believe it, but you have no choice but to kind of dig into it and say to yourself, yo, damn, this is true about me. And damn, this is also true about me. Even down to details that are like, they're so ridiculous that they leave you with a sense of shock. They leave you with a sense of wanting to walk away from this. It's like, yo, this is creepy. This is scary. Like, how the hell do the positions of the planets and celestial bodies determine how I like to eat? like how I like to eat. I remember reading this, just reading this description about how I like spicy foods. I'm like, okay, all right, you got that one. But I also like cold drinks. Okay, what, 2 for 2, you're good on that. I also like humidity, in other words, sauces. It actually named sauces, like sauces in my sandwiches. And I never remember when I was reading that, my wife was with me, and she was like, well, yeah, that explains why your sandwiches are always so full of ketchup and mayonnaise and mustard, to the point where when you're eating it, it drips all over the damn counter. And I'm like, damn, you're right, yo. I love my sauces in my sandwiches, in my pasta. Like when she makes pasta, I'm like, yo, double up on that sauce. I like my spaghetti drippy. I don't like that dry kind of. Put some sauce up in there. When I finish my spaghetti, I need a spoon to finish up the sauce. Right? And it didn't finish there. And it went on to say that I have a particular need for certain ingredients, to the point where I will go across the city to get a certain ingredient just because I want that particular ingredient, even though I could go like across the street to the market and find that ingredient there. No, there's a particular shop on the other side of the city who has that ingredient, but it has it at the certain quality and taste that I like. And I do. Like, I will put together, I'll give you an example. I'll like put together some granola. I'll put together some fucking granola, right? And I will go to one shop that's like 30 minutes away just to get the hazelnuts. Then I'll go across town to go get the oat flakes, and then go to another shop to get I go to all these different places to get the ingredients. It's mad. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And it also specified that I like cold. I prefer cold food. Like, I don't like hot food, and I don't. Like, when a meal is freshly cooked, I'll let it sit on the table for a minute and let it cool down. Pasta, like the next day out of the fridge, my wife is like, yo, I'll warm it up for you. I'm like, no, leave it like that. But it's cold. Yeah, I like it like that, yo. And it's crazy, right? Here's the crazy part. Here's the twist, the mad part. My wife, every year, she's like, you're crazy. There's something wrong with you. I think you need to see somebody. Because I got to have icy cold drinks. Like, to the point, like, no lie, I have 2-liter bottles of water, right? And I fill them up like a quarter of the way or a third of the way. I fill them up with water. And I might like take like 6 of these, fill them up like a third of the way with water, and I put them in the freezer, and I let them freeze up, and then I'll take them out, and I'll fill them up the rest of the way, just so I can have this block of ice inside my water, even in the middle of winter. Like, in the middle of winter, I got to drink ice cold water. Now, here, I'm saying all this to say that I read this in a human design analysis of my chart, of my particular birth time. And this wasn't, this was like down to the minute. You have the human design system calculates the day of your birth, right? And then all the way down to the time of your birth. And the time of my birth indicated my eating style. Now, here's the crazy part. The crazy part is that I've spent like the last 14 years studying my wife's chart. Completely different from mine. Completely different eating styles, completely different attitude, completely different approaches to sexuality. And they're all correct. Like, how do you deal with something like that? Because it's all fun and good, and it's like, wow, you get a bunch of wow moments. You get a bunch of wow moments. But then when you get those wow moments, you step back and you're like, wait a minute, all this shit was in me when I was born. All of this is based on my time of birth, my date, place, and time of birth. that leads to mind-boggling questions like, where the hell does this stuff come from? Then you got to get into the whole story of how the human design system was developed, who developed it, how it was revealed to this person. And I've always been fascinated by the human design system because of the 7 life energy system, which is something that I experienced beforehand. If it wasn't for the 7 life energies, I wouldn't have gone into the human design system, because the same phenomenon happens with the 7 life energies. It's not as detailed oriented. It's not based on the time of birth or anything like that. For me, it's a holarchical. It's more of a holistic view of humanity, based on the collective. Based on the collective, we're all kind of developed into these different groups. And the question has always been for years, and I've never had an opportunity to ask Gary Null or send a message to Gary Null, or to be able to ask, like, where, who or what programmed this into humanity, when and how. That's always been my question. So lately, after years of digging around in my charts and the charts of other, and it's been helping me a lot. Like, even in my work environment, I get a new colleague, I snoop around, get his date of birth, place of birth, and then start looking into his profile, and it's like, damn, it fits, it matches, it helps me. It helps, just like the 7 life energies have always helped me to better understand people's characters and how to deal with them. The same thing has happened with human design. So now with human design, what I'm starting to do is be more open to the other aspects of what human design groups put out there. And for years, I've seen human design groups put out this idea that the sun, as it travels through its 360-degree cycle of the zodiac, each time that it passes through one of the gates, and basically you have 12 houses of the zodiac. Well, within those houses, there are gates. So there's 64 gates. Let's just say in the celestial. I don't know if it's the zodiac. I don't know what you want to call it. But there's 64 gates, just like there's 12 houses of the zodiac. There's 64 gates, and so the sun passes through these gates every 5.5 days or so. And what has been said and what I've been learning for years is that, when the sun, because the sun is the most powerful influence that we have as far as celestial bodies are concerned, I would slightly argue that, because they say 70% of the influence comes from the sun. Okay, I can dig it because it's a powerful object out there. But I've always now, not that human design underestimates the power of the earth, but I do acknowledge something that is apparent to me, and that is that the earth is right under my feet. So, the sun is out there, but the earth is right here underneath my feet. So, whatever energies are coming from the earth, they're hitting humanity like full on immediately. So, but, I'm noticing lately that, human design groups that discuss or talk about the transitions, they include the earth. For years I was seeing it was just focusing on the sun, but now I'm noticing a lot that it focuses on the sun and the earth because they're paired. They're always paired up. Wherever the sun is, on the other side, you'll find the earth, at least on the wheel, as far as the 64 gates are concerned. So now we've stepped into, and I've been paying attention to these lately. I said, okay, I'm going to do this ephemeris thing. I'm going to look at these gates. I'm going to pay attention to when we go into a particular gate, what the gate is about, what kind of influence, just like they do with the astrology thing, like we're now moving into the Scorpio and all, we're moving into this and moving into that. And so in the human design system, you move into each gate. Each gate has a particular quality that a person born within that, born with the influence of that gate, they have that quality year in, year out. Those of us who are not born like me, I wasn't born in gate 58. I was born in gate 43. So now that we're passing through in these next 5 days, we're passing through gate 58. The power of gate 58 through the influence of the sun projecting it onto us is what we experience in the next couple of days, as if I were born with gate 58. So it's kind of like I have gate 43 and gate 58 at the same time that I can play with and kind of experience in these next couple of days. And it's been interesting to follow along, because I study what the gate is about, and then I sit and I pay attention to the changes that I go through during these days, and I watch other people around me. And so I've been looking into it, and today was gate 58, the gate of joy and vitality. I don't remember where I have it in my chart, but I do have it in my chart. It's not in my personality sun, but I have it in my chart. And yeah, I fed it in. What I do is I feed it into my AI assistant, and I say, hey, look, we just moved into gate 58. What can you tell me about gate 58? And my AI assistant, breaks things down and threw some questions at me today. I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's like, I can take these questions today and maybe throw them into my commute cast. I know y'all like that. Y'all like that commute cast. I should be registering these terms, right? I came up with smart cast years ago, and now I got commute cast going on. Okay. What areas of your life feel ripe for improvement right now? You could take these questions down as well, What areas of your life feel ripe for improvement right now? Well, I suppose in the work environment, since I'm going through this transitional moment in which the hotel that we're giving security service to at the moment has decided to not renew our contract. So we're coming to a closure. But at the same time, when this contract closes out, I'll be moving over to another hotel. I more than likely will not be the chief of security. I'm the chief of security at the moment. But I'll probably be stepping down in the sense that there isn't another place where I will continue to be in the position of chief of security. And so I'll either be stepping back down to a simple officer, or perhaps something might open up for me to become a deputy chief. It's still uncertain. So as far as improvement at the moment would be just that. The idea that I can take the opportunity to improve upon my understanding of the work that I do, but from the perspective of an officer, from the perspective of a simple operator. Like, I'm trying to upgrade as much as I can all of my team members, because I'm trying to get across to them, like, guys, you guys got one more month with me, right? And I'm trying to be the best teacher and the best leader that I can be. And so take advantage of the opportunity, because I don't hold back with my team. I don't hold back with my colleagues. There are other chiefs of securities, my fellow comrades that are chiefs, right? That they don't really help out their squad, because here we go. Y'all was waiting for that, wasn't y'all? It's like the third day in a row, or the third take in a row. I still don't know what the hell that is. Really don't. And there are certain chiefs that I know that they don't teach their team members everything, for the fear that the team member who knows too much may take their place. And I think that's really, it's selfish and it's childish. But it's what people do sometimes, man. It's just what people do sometimes. I'm not of that belief. I believe that my team, the more that they are informed, look, this is what I believe. I believe that if you are really a good teacher and a good leader in life, then you hope that the people who are students under you or who are following you surpass you. That's the kind of teacher and leader I am. I look to have the people who are following me or who are my students I would like to see them surpass me if they can. So I give them everything. I give them all the information that they need. I'd be more than happy to see them surpass me. It's like, look, if you can do this better than I can, please do. If you can do this better than I can, please do. So a really good teacher and a really good leader would look to his students and followers and try to find those who have the willingness to want to surpass them and give them everything they need. Those who don't want to learn, I don't chase them. I let them know, listen, you need to do your job correct, right? And so if you make a mistake, I'm gonna let you know. But those cats who come to me and they're like, yo, how do I do this, or how do I do that? I'm on them. I'm like, yo, hey, come here. This is how you do it, this and that. And I even explain to them, what they could potentially do in the future should they want to become a chief, if they want to become a teacher. And the same goes for, like, the opposite is also true. That I believe that a real student, if you're a real student, then your desire is not to want to remain under not remain dependent upon your teacher. Like, you should want to supersede your teacher if you're a really good student. If not, then you're almost childlike in that you want to remain under. You don't want to take on the responsibility. You don't want to take on the true responsibility. You like the idea that your teacher has all the responsibility of teaching you. Your learning should really be your responsibility. And so if you're a true student, you should want to supersede your teacher. If you're a true teacher, you should want that to see your students supersede you, take your place even. So I'm not that kind of person who's afraid that somebody will take my place. I'll give it to you quickly. If you show that you're better at doing something than I am, then hey, more power to you. You bring that quality to the team. So I've been trying to get across to my colleagues now, listen, you guys got a month left with me. Take advantage of it. And there's one cat on the team that really is doing it. Like, he's just really doing it. The others are not. So I'm focusing a lot of my attention on him. So yeah, the interesting, what areas of your life feel ripe for improvement right now? Actually, it's not me who needs the improvement. It's this cat that I'm working with. And I think that, I think it reflects on the idea that I'm improving as a teacher. Because, this guy is on me. He's like, yo, show me this, yo, show me that. And I'm like, yo, why don't you become the chief? He's like, nah, I don't feel ready for that. And, because he may have the opportunity to, like, we're moving up. My team is moving on. We're going to be separated out. But there's a new company that's going to come in and handle the security for this hotel. So I was telling my colleague, why don't you jump on the opportunity to perhaps become the chief of the new team? Because the new team that's coming in, they don't know nothing. You know a whole lot. You don't know everything. You're sitting here telling me, well, I don't know everything that you know. Well, I'm not going to be here. So whenever the new team comes in, if you decide to stay with the new company, hey, you'll know more than everybody else. You can take the opportunity to become a chief. He's like, nah, I want to go wherever you go. And I'm like, that might not be possible. So anyway, long story short, the improvement is going to be, one, to help improve my colleague, and two, to perhaps help improve myself and my ability to be able to teach them and lead them. Well, you know what? I think that's enough for now. I had two other questions here. Are there places where you can balance striving for excellence with gratitude for what already is? These are nice questions. Are there places where you can balance striving for excellence with gratitude for what already is? And then there's another question. How can you bring vitality and enthusiasm to mundane or challenging tasks? How can you bring vitality and enthusiasm to mundane or challenging tasks? So there it is. I'm going to leave you with that for now. I feel like I've emptied out enough from this mind of mine today. And it seems like the volume has gone down because I'm feeling more relaxed. I'm also feeling tired because I want to take my ass home and get some sleep. So yeah, there it is. Good to go. For those of you who are out there listening, I appreciate it. Don't know who you are, where you are. At this point, doesn't matter, but I appreciate it anyway. All right.